What's good? What's good? Sharing it around real quick for you guys. Give me a second. back with the final 3 parts of the Mortal Kombat continuation, The Prey, the spin-off series. Back here at part 38, part 39, and last but not least, part 40. Insanity. 100%. So, 38, the shortest one out of the 3. 39 steps it up to just under the 30-minute mark, underneath it by a minute and a half. And then, part 40, we get over the hour mark by a couple minutes. So, insanity, but a lot to digest nonetheless. And I'm excited to see how this bad boy ends for sure. So definitely do check out this series for yourself. I recommend it, all 40 parts for sure. Here on the channel, of course, and my reaction to all 40 parts as well, by the way. For sure. So, now I gotta edit it, of course. I was thinking, well, I guess 50, but, you know. So, it was there. Up to date. 20, 6, 1. So now it is fully up to date 100%. As I'm just adding it real quick now. Well, bam! So there you guys go, fully 110% up to date, and of course that title was fixed. So there's that as well. So, yeah, so definitely check out the playlist for you guys yourself. So, definitely recommend checking out the series for yourselves. 110%. The link for Dan Reviews' channel, link is in the description. All credit goes to him. Show him love, support. Recommend he makes fire content, of course. The second channel, Mega Man. Shout out to him as well. Check him out. He makes fire content also. Definitely recommend him as well. And the playlist for the World Gauntlet Complete Universe is also in the description below. So definitely check out that for yourselves as well. I definitely recommend giving it a chance. 10%. So I definitely do recommend that for sure. 10%. listen to me. At all. Yeah. So, sorry, it's been off the entire damn time, and now it happens to be good. Right. Been at that temperature this whole time. Why do you suddenly now turn on? Makes no sense. So, no sense. So all the links are in the description below. The other thing I'm going to add is the playlist link. Of course, for that. So obviously, like I said, I am working on fully, completely. Well, actually, this one will actually be very, very easy, seriously. You know what I mean? For fix. You know what I mean in terms of getting the links for everything. So. Yeah, that works. So, and then I'll just copy that and then just copy and paste it in the rest of them. So that one is going to be easy to kind of fix, you know what I mean? So that won't be too shabby, you know what I mean? That's the nice thing about that. So now if you kind of go back to the other ones, for the links for those will be in the description below, of course. Which is going to be great because then you can go right to it directly from there. Or, of course, like I said, you go to the playlist section, either way, it's there, you know what I mean? So whether you hit the link or whether you go directly there yourself, either way, that link is there for everything, of course. Which it is exciting, obviously. And like I said, there's a lot of them that I have to, get fully up to date with in terms of the playlist. You know what I mean? And and of course, And of course, all the series, you know what I mean, in terms of every episode. A lot of them are pretty much up to date relatively. This is a matter of, keeping it up to date and everything like that. So, um, so I do apologize for not fully staying up to date with it. It is, like I said, it's one thing being already up to date and then keeping up with it after that. You know what I mean? Obviously, if I stay on top of it, of course. It's another thing when you're not. When you're not on top of it at the beginning, and then now you're trying to kind of recapitulate. So, I'm actually just about done. Every single one is going to be fully up to date here, which is W's on that. You know what I mean? So you get a little link in the description for all of the Prey episodes that you watch me react to. Which is awesome. It's crazy that this is the end. It's pretty crazy. For sure. I had to really go down further than most. For that first one, of course, I had to do that with all the other ones. There you go. So, well, bam! All 100%. All 100% in the description. Everything like that. There we go. 100% up to date. Links for everything in the description. Okay. Alrighty. There you guys go. So, everything in the description. Links for everything in the description. So, shout out to them. We got some lengthy ones here, so. Now this one's 100% done. I gotta do that for every episode. Some of them won't be too shabby, you know what I mean, because I didn't get that far into them. So it won't be too shabby to kind of go back and, you know what I mean. But other ones, it's gonna take a hot minute. So I gotta jump on it for sure. The Hedgehog Bros one, that one's gonna be the hardest, I think, because that's the longest. That's gonna be a pain in my ass. So, yeah. Anyways, hit that like button if you guys do enjoy. Would appreciate it very much. For 5-6 likes, that'd be awesome. Let me know your thoughts, reactions, ratings, all that good stuff on these final parts, and what you think about the entire series overall, from beginning all the way until now, of course. let me know. Leave it in the chat or in the comment section below. Either way, that'd be awesome. Of course, subscribe for more fire content like this. Of course, for any other spin-offs Dan Reviews makes on his channel, of course, with the War Gone Mad universe. Of course, we got a new one that's going to be coming out this fall, Lonely Roads. So you already know I'll be covering that, of course, with its own separate playlist, obviously, as well as the other playlist I will be putting in there as well for my reactions too, as well. So I think for the World Gone Mad universe series, all the series that he does, I will add the World Gone Mad season 5. Well, actually, I should say the main series. I should say the World Gone Mad main series. I will add that playlist, my reaction to that playlist, in the description too. So that'll be one more thing I'm going to add. After I'm done streaming, of course. I figured I'd at least get the playlist for the Prey. I figured I'd get that in there. You know what I mean? Of course, it would have been easier if I did both, but it is what it is. I didn't think about it at first. But yeah, so good thing is it's not as long, so it won't take as long to quickly add them in there. But yeah, so I'll add that in there too, so that way then you can see my main series, Walk On Mad, and of course the Prey, of course, and eventually the Lonely Roads as well. And what I'll do is I'll make that playlist now, so that way then I'm already on top of it. You know what I mean? So that way then, bam. So, of course, I don't know how many seasons that's going to get, but we'll see, of course, with Mr. Dan. So, but nonetheless, all the links for everything is in the description below, so definitely do check them all out. Of course, hit that bell to be notified every time we go live or upload content like this. Of course, again, shout out to Dan Reviews, shout out to Mega Man, and again, War Gone Mad playlist, Complete Universe in the description. Check it out for yourselves as I recommend. Of course, social media, stay extra notified when I go live on upload content like this. Polls, updates, you name it, be more part of the community. Links in the description. Second channel, Twitch, Housework channel, become a member, all down there. As always, extra content helps support me, goes a long way, keeps me doing what I'm doing. I appreciate it very much. So, without further ado, let's get into it. 110%. Hopefully now that it's open, maybe it'll go down. Maybe that would be oh, actually went up. Huh. Well, frick you. That's some shit right there. I'll tell you what. It feels colder too, so that's why it doesn't make any sense to me why you would go up. I'm just trying to be an ass. You want the damn thing to turn on. That's bullshit. I think that's a dick. What is that? Interesting. I hate how they changed this. This is ridiculous. I don't know. They really changed this. I don't know if I really like this. Interesting. Alright. So, well, hopefully we'll be good. I'll do whatever I gotta do to, I guess if I truly need to, if it doesn't go back down, then I might turn it on. I don't know. Let's see. Well, hopefully it's fine. I don't like the fact that it's. I don't like the fact that it gets too roasty in here. You know what I mean? I don't know. It could be the humidity. That's probably what it is. So, anyways, let's get right into it. Part 38. Let's get it. Fire and snow. Leave it like as always. How about nice munchies, you know what I mean? Because why not?
Flashback to last week. We see Hunter Pants standing on the watchtower of Lincolnville as he's smoking a joint, as he says to the guard. So that thing you wanted to talk to me about? The man says, yeah, well, Mrs. West was thinking about having a meeting once they're back. It sounded pretty serious. Thought you should know. Hunter Pants says, yeah, well, our water situation hasn't necessarily been great the past few months. Plus, these mass freaks keep coming around, so honestly, I'm surprised we haven't had this conversation sooner. The man says, yeah, well, ever since. Hunter says, yeah, I know. Hey, you see that? They see an armored vehicle driving up to the gates, as Hunter says. Who the hell is... Out of nowhere, the man next to him gets an arrow to the neck, as blood is gushing all over the place.
Damn!
Hunter ducks as he says, hey, we got company! Out of nowhere, multiple houses get blown up. As we see, multiple houses in Lincolnville are blowing up. As we see, Hunter climbs down the tower as he runs for his life. As we see a bunch of people running, as we see houses and buildings are on fire. As Hunter then backs up against one of the houses. As we then see skull hunters bust down the front gate. As they start firing on the civilians. As we then see there are other fighters from Lincolnville that fire back towards them. As we see people getting shot and killed on each side. Hunter then reloads his gun. As he then comes out and starts firing at the rest of the skull hunters. He kills the last few. As we then see, almost every house has been destroyed and blown up. As we see burned bodies everywhere of civilians that have been burned. Later on, we see the town is totaled. Hunter stands there with the soldiers that are left of Lincolnville, as he says, hey, we all okay? We see what's left of the soldiers as we see burnt bodies of who's been killed. As we see, they all look horrified, as Hunter Pants says. Don't look at it. Listen, we gotta go. This place isn't safe anymore. We gotta find Mrs. West and tell her what the hell's going on. This place isn't safe anymore. There's a place we can go. It's far. But if you just put a little trust in this old man, I promise you, I will keep you all safe. Everyone looks scared as the dog then barks, as everyone starts following Hunter as they all flee from Lincolnville and go with Hunter Pants to escape the fires in Lincolnville. Currently, we see Hunter Pants loading a gun as he's on the boat with Mara and Kai, as Mara says. You alright, Hunter? Hunter says, Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just scared. I have a feeling this war isn't going to end in our favor. Kai says, Hey, that's bullshit, man. Ragtard isn't stopping shit. Look at our army, for example. Our people are trained for this. We're not going to lose. Hunter says, Yeah, I know. I just feel like I could have protected our family better that night in Lincolnville. Mara says, Hey now. She shows him her stump and she says, When I lost my hand, I thought I was going to die. Do you remember who saved me? Hunter says, Yeah. Someone who had a lot more balls than I did. Mara says, Hey, listen. She'd be proud of you, okay? She knew how badass you were. And so do I. Kai says, Yeah, come on, Gramps. You know we can do this. Oh, the ones we've lost, they're not anywhere but here. Watching our every step. Mara says, Hunter, we'd be lost without you. Remember that. As we then see the boats approaching Vel's old castle.
Shit.
Earlier, back with Rob and Vel. Vel cuts two of the Skull Hunters' heads off as they go flying. Rob kicks one down as he then stabs them in the head. We see one of the Skull Hunters from far is loading an arrow as they aim it towards Vel. As they fire, as we see the arrow traveling in slow motion, as it narrowly misses Vel. As it clips Rob in the shoulder, Rob screams out as Vel covers for him. As she slashes two other Skull Hunters coming their way, Vel then throws a knife as it goes into one of their necks. She quickly removes the knife out of its neck and uses it to stab another one in the throat, killing it as well. But then, they all tackle Vel and Rob down, as they then try fighting back, as they then hear multiple gunshots, as we then see Ryder and Tugo run in with their weapons as they kill the remaining Skull Hunters and slash and kill the rest. Tugo sees Vel as he runs and hugs her tight as he says, I knew you were alive. I knew it. Vel says, I'm okay, Tugo. I'm okay. I'm really fucking happy to see your faceless ass. Rob says, How did you find us both? Ryder says, We were on our way to the boats. We were on our way to the castle, and I saw you here with Vel here. And Tugo and I knew we had to swoop in right away. Vel says, Wait, so the castle? That's where we're doing this thing? Rob says, It's the best bet. We're trying to keep this other little spot we have with hunters safe. Sorry, Vel, we had to use the castle for this. Vel says, No, it's all fucking fine with fucking me. It's just, this isn't gonna be easy, Rob. It's not. Rob says, Well, easy isn't part of the package in this world, so there is that. But then again, we see one of the Skull Hunters is still alive as she is crawling on the ground, as Tugo says, I got this. He walks over to her as he flips her over, as he then stabs her in the belly and says, That's from my leader. He stabs her again and says, That's from my home. He stabs her again and says,
Damn.
That's from my family. As he puts the knife up to her throat and says, And this is for those who Ragnar took from us. As he kills her and says, can go now. As we see them leaving to go back to the castle.
Wow. I don't blame him, though. I don't blame him. I don't.
Back in Wyoming, Desmond fires at Ragnar as we see a skull hunter comes up behind him as the shot goes off and he misses Ragnar. The skull hunter fires a shot in the air and says, "Drop it! Do it now!" As a few more come out and aim their guns towards Athena as well. Desmond gets punched in the face by the enforcer as we see them throw him into a prison cell. As Desmond says, "You really enjoy this, don't you?" The enforcer walks up to him and says, "No, I miss when it was just me and my brother out there in the world. But this place, they'll never let me leave. If Avar wasn't enough to show you, then I don't know what is. There's only one way this all goes. The prey." As he walks away, as Desmond is now locked up in the Wyoming prison. We see Athena tied to a chair in Ragnar's throne room as she looks saddened by what happened. As Ragnar walks up to her and says, "Are you okay, sweet pea?" Athena says, Why did you lie to me?" Ragnar says, "There's a fox in the penthouse, Athena, and that fox has escaped. And tonight I'm gonna get it back. Kill everyone else, fuck them. You should be thanking me." "This is what you wanted. I truly don't know what else I could say. Rob is why it all happened." Athena says, "Did you rape Valhazer?" Ragnar stops as he looks shocked that she knows and says, "Who told you that?" Athena says, "She did. She told me everything." "Now answer my fucking question, Dad." "Answer my fucking question," Ragnar says. So, I see what's going on here. You think you have me all figured out. Well, guess fucking what, you don't. Do you know what I've done to protect you for all this time? All the things I've done for you. And I have never even gotten a thank you for any of the things that I've done for you. You're ungrateful, pathetic, and in way over your head. Do you know who I am? No. I'm the only man left in the world that makes things happen. Unlike your father, I actually get the job done." Athena laughs and says, "That may not be true. Looks like you have a war to settle. Better get at it, Pops." Ragnar smiles and says, "Oh, I have just the thing." He unties her as he says, "Walk with me, sweetheart." As we see Rob, Vel, Ryder, and Tugo driving on the boat on the river, as we hear Ragnar saying, "See, the enforcer didn't exactly knock out your friend because of him being in my way. I mean, yes, that was an additional piece, but as a matter of fact, I was keeping the danger from him." We see Rob and the others land at the castle, as we see everyone comes out, as they all start hugging Vel, as they all see that she's okay. As we hear Ragnar says, "See, Wyoming is a place of good, decent-minded people. Over the years, we had to keep the town safe. And in order to do that, we've had a backup plan for the day that we needed to do a little bit more. And what has happened over the last week has convinced me that time is now. We're going to have to push for something bigger in order to win this war." Athena looks nervous as she says, "Dad, where are you taking me?" As we see Vel gets up in front of her family and at the top of the castle, and she says, "Well, I'm back. The crowd cheers as she says, we're back. We've lost a lot to get here. Too much. And I still fucking swear like a sailor, so I'll try to fucking keep it short. But I'm sorry for failing you. Because I did. I let all you people down and I shouldn't have. I lost most of my people. And I know a lot of you did too. And I should never have left to begin with. Never should have fucking left. You know? I created this place a few years ago because I wanted a fresh start. You know, wanting a fresh start isn't always the fucking answer. The people that mean the most to me are standing right in front of me. Because my family is standing right here. And the people that mean the most to me are standing right in front of me right now. And I don't care what Ragnar has in store. Him and his men full of boats, they're not going to stop this family. This family has survived the impossible, and we would goddamn thrive for this one too. And for the West family, as the crowd yells, for the West family! As they hold up their weapons in the air, as we see a big smile on Vel's face.
Hell yeah.
Ragnar takes Athena into a building, as he says, yeah, sweetheart, your friend Desmond was walking down this way before. We took him. Had the enforcer take him for a reason. This part of town has always been guarded for a reason. I never told you when you were a kid, because I knew you wouldn't understand. But seeing how you've already acted out against my will, I don't see an issue with you seeing what this place contains. They go down a massive amount of stairs. As they make it way down, as Athena says. How far underground are we? Ragnar says. Far enough. As we hear a lot of growling, as Ragnar says. I've been collecting this for years. And I always wondered when I'll have an opportunity to use this to protect this town. I think I finally have it. As they stand over the railings, as we zoom out to see a crowd of thousands and thousands of reanimated corpses stored underground of Wyoming.
What the fuck?
As Ragnar takes a deep breath, as Athena looks worried and asks, Dad, what the hell is this for? Ragnar looks at her and says, the Praise Reckoning.
What the fuck? Wow. 10 out of 10. Damn. Yeah, 10 out of 10. For damn sure. 110%. Crazy. Insanity. I liked Val and Rob's fire action fight scene, and then Tugo coming in there and saving the day. Big W's. Fire scene. Deep, but good. Badass. I liked the beginning portion where it kind of showed the flashback of how that attack on, the community, the West community, their area, with Hunter and the other guy, protecting that area, and then it going, up in flames, and then Hunter kind of saving who was left. I like that portion, that kind of answer of how it kind of, how it kind of all went down there, and stuff like that. Crazy but good. And then coming back, oh my god, Well, also, and then, Val rallying up everybody with Rob and Tugo and everybody joining forces. You know what I mean? To give it all they got. You know, freaking awesome. Loved it. I thought that was really cool. Good speech. And much needed. You know what I mean? For sure. So, 110%. So. And then my man misses. Oh, and they tackle his ass down. Oh my goodness. Fucking crap. Of course, this goddamn bastard. Oh man, his ass getting thrown in jail. And then of course, Ragnar tying up, Athena like a dog, essentially. You know what I mean? And then showing him that big ass freaking horde, as he's calling it, the prey, the reckoning. Insanity. Truly. Insanity. Damn. Good. I have no issues with it. 10 out of 10 for me. Craziness for sure. Let me know what you guys thought. That was part 38, Fire and Snow. Let's get it. Part 39. A little bit longer. But it's probably going to cruise, I'm sure of that. So, leaving a like as always. The Predator and the Prey. Act 1. Shit, here we go. So, 10 out of 10 for that. 30. Let's see if the 10 can take away from it. We'll finish it out.
Flashback to 2014. We see Rob and Carrie standing at the altar as a priest says, Rob, do you take this woman to be your loyal, lawfully wedded wife in holy matrimony? Rob says, I do. Carrie, do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband in holy matrimony? Carrie says, I do. The priest says, I now pronounce you husband and wife. As Rob and Carrie kiss, as the audience applauds. Later on, we see everyone talking at the wedding party. As we see Rob sitting with a few of his band members. As we see Tesman then says, Come on, man. You gotta let me come on the road with you. It would be an absolute bang of time, man. Rob says, listen, I'd love to, alright? I don't want that kind of stress, man. It's always chaotic. There's always people trying to get autographs and photographs and everything that ends with the word graph, basically. Tesman says, oh, come on, man. I can handle it. Besides, your roadie just ditched you, man. I could be a million times better than that motherfucker was. Come on, man. You know you want to. Rob looks at his bandmates as one of them says, come on, man. He's feeling the lust for music. It's time for us to rock, Rob says. All right, fine, buddy. You got the job. Tesman hugs him and says, thank you, boss. Mr. Johnson, you and me on the road together? It's about to be lit, motherfucker. All them girls coming at us all the... Rob looks at him and he says, and the great shows I'll be a part of as well. It's going to be a massive thrill. Rob says, all right, I can tell you're excited about it. Tesman says, motherfucking right, I'm excited about it. Hey, there's that bride of the hour. We see Carrie walks up to Rob as she says, the band's getting ready for our first dance together as husband and wife. Rob says, all right. But then his phone starts ringing as he says, hang on, sweetie, it's my boss. Just hang on 2 seconds. He steps away from them as he says, Mark, the hell is it, man? I'm kind of in the middle of something here. For your information, I'm at my wedding that you said you were too busy to go to. We hear Mark on the other end saying, oh, yes, Rob, I'm in the middle of a very as we see him in a hot tub with a few ladies in bikinis, as Rob says. What the fuck do you want? Mark says. Well, Rob, I just thought I'd give you a heads up. Entertainment Weekly wants to do a photo shoot with you on Friday at 3. Want to make sure that you knew in advance because I know you don't like unexpected things just popping up like that, Rob says. Alright, yeah, that's fine. Mark says. Hey, though, now that I have you, I did book 2 more shows for you this weekend. I also thought you should know that as well. Both nights will be in Vegas. It'll be at the... Rob cuts him off and says, what the fuck? Carrie and I are on our honeymoon this weekend. You knew that shit. What the fuck do you mean 2 shows this weekend? Mark says, well, it's good publicity, Rob. Listen, leave your pet at home, get extra money in the bank, everyone's happy, then you go back to your... What's her name again? Rob says, Carrie. Her name is Carrie, and I'm at my wedding. Mark says, right, Carrie. Well, I hope you and Carrie have a wonderful evening. However, give me an answer by the end of the day, okay? Rob hangs up on him mid-sentence, as he then walks over to everyone, as she says, what was it, babe? Rob takes her by the hand and says, nothing. Nothing at all. As he looks pissed, as he then tries to forget it, as he has his first dance with his wife by the water.
What an ass. Such a bastard. Shows no cares about his situation.
Currently, we see Rob standing by the water as he sticks his sword into the ground and says, may the prey get what they deserve.
Okay. I like that. Hopefully. That's crazy. I'm just mind blown by that.
Back in Wyoming, Athena sees this horde as she's looking at this massive deadhead as she says, Dad, please. Please don't do this. Ragnar grabs her and pushes her against the wall and he says, you have 2 choices. You either go there with me today and you help us make Wyoming a great place again for these people. Or you end up down there with them and you still help me. In a different way. Athena actually looks afraid of her father as she says, I'll do whatever you need me to do. Ragnar smiles and says, let it go. Yeah, let's go win.
I think the best way to win in that situation is backstab. Play along. Make it seem believable.
Back at Vel's castle, we see Ryder shivering as we see it's cold outside, as Vel is getting her armor as she says, "Hey, you good?" Ryder says, Yeah, I'm alright. Hey, I'm glad you're back, really. If you didn't break yourself out, you know I would have come back for you, right? Vel says, Yeah, I know. Oh, here. She gives him a sword and she says, Here, take it. I don't need you dying out here tonight. We see Mara at the top of the castle in front of a Hwacha as they load arrows onto it as they get ready to use it. We see Ryder with his sword in front of the crowd, Tugo with his sword, Kai standing there as Vel and Rob step out in front as they all line up in front of the castle. We then see multiple ships come riding in from far, as Mara says. They're here. As we see, the Enforcer is at the front of the crowd with Athena behind him. As we see, they both step down and put a ramp on the boat. As they release ships and ships of deadheads, as we see thousands of deadheads are released from the boats, as they walk into the water and onto the land where they're standing, as Vel and the group look nervous, as Vel looks pissed and says, Stand your ground! Get ready!
Oh shit. Oh shit.
As we see a vantage point from far, as Ragnar is looking down at this with binoculars, as he pulls out a megaphone and says, Well, Rob, you just couldn't comply, can you? You just had to go and fuck everything up! Now I have
That'd be you.
people I have to kill. And unfortunately, it all has to go this way. That makes me sad, considering all the great times we had together, Rob. All the money we used to make for each other. Rob yells out, Then how about you step out and talk to me, you fucking coward? We're right here! Ragnar says, You're smarter than that. There's no amount of talking that's ever gonna change what's about to happen. You all die tonight. After, we will regain what we regain. Have fun, Rob. This one's for you. Luckily this time, I'm here on a special day. Rob and the group stand ready as Vel says, Draw! As we see several of them loading arrows as Vel says, Fire! They fire and kill a few dozen deadheads as Vel signals the men as they step in front of there with their shields. As Rob, Ryder, Tugo, and the others all start slicing up and killing deadhead after deadhead. Mara sees this and says, Come on, fire now, go! We see Mara signaling them to fire as we see more arrows fire down on the deadheads coming in. Rob and the others are slicing as many as they can. Ragnar is looking down at this and smiling as Athena and the Enforcer walk up to him. And the Enforcer says, It's done, boss. They're getting in. Ragnar says, Perfect. Now, we wait. As we see time going by, as we see they are killing deadhead after deadhead after deadhead after deadhead. As we then see it's starting to snow out, as our characters are shivering out there in the cold, killing multiple deadheads at once. We then see they are all looking tired as Vel looks at Rob and she says, We can't keep doing this, Rob. They keep coming. Rob says, We stay here, we all die. This horde's gonna kill us. But then they see a massive deadhead from far in the crowd as Vel looks at Rob and makes the call. Fall back. Now, go!
Oh god. What the hell?
Ryder, Rob, and the others run into the castle as they close it up and they lock themselves in as they all look tired and drained. As Rob sees the deadhead starts banging on the outside of the castle and he says, "Come on! Come on!" Everyone starts picking them off as Mara and the others fire arrows down at as many of the deadheads as possible. As Ragnar, the Enforcer, Athena, and the rest of the Skull Hunters all load and fire arrows all down towards the castle. Rob sees these arrows coming for them as he says, "Get down!" He pushes Vel out of the way and saves her. Out of nowhere, the castle gets lit on fire.
Oh,
Vel and Rob get up to see. Multiple fighters are burning alive as Vel sees her castle is on fire.
Yes.
Ryder gets up as he looks up at the tower and he sees it's on fire as he screams out, "No, Mara! Mara!" Rob is running through the castle trying to save as many people as he can as we see multiple people are burning to death. Ryder goes up to the top as he dodges arrows that are firing towards him as he's screaming, "Mara! Mara!" As we see, she's buried by 3 soldiers that jumped on her to save her life. We see she's covered in blood. As we see, she's moving. Ryder gets their dead corpses off of her as he says, "Hey, you okay?" Mara says, Yeah, I think so." As we see fires all around them, Ragnar says, "Enforcer, Athena, get down there. Finish the job. Kill everyone besides Rob. I get him." The Enforcer says, "You got it." We see Rob finds Tugo and says, "Hey, you okay?" Tugo says, "Yeah, they're trying to pin us in. We need to get out of..." But then, the deadheads bust down the wall as they make it inside. Ryder sees this and says, "We gotta get the hell out of here." We see Mara then jumps over the wall of the castle as she says, "Ryder, come on." Ryder then sits there for a minute as he looks at her and says, "I love you." As he runs back into the fight, as Mara then cries as she says, "No! Ryder, please don't do this." As she tries to find a way in, but then arrows are being fired in her direction as she has no choice but to run for her life and away from the castle. Rob, Tugo, Kai, and some of the remaining fighters start killing as many deadheads as they can as they are getting in, as they flood in, as Rob and the others keep fighting.
Shit. It's getting insane.
As the smoke gets worse, we then see Vel is running through the inside of her castle as she runs up the stairs looking for any survivors. But then we see 3 skull hunters on the steps. We then see 5 more behind her from where she came. As they all pull out their knives, as Vel says, "Well, you guys finally got the balls to come in here yourselves. I guess you're too much of a mama's boy to take me on without your gift. Well, you already took everything, you bunch of fucks. Bring it on, motherfuckers." She slices 2 of them in the throat as the blood gushes out everywhere. As she then kicks 2 down and stabs one in the neck. As she then flips backwards and stabs the other one and kills them as well. As she moves up the stairs and kills the remaining few. She then goes up the stairs to the top floor as she then sees a sword on a shelf. As she quickly takes the sword and puts it on her back. As she stands there and says, "Don't worry, Miles. I'll never let this thing get destroyed." As she keeps moving, but then she gets surrounded by 5 other skull hunters, as one of them says, "And where do you think you're going, Hazer?"
You're on.
We see Ryder and Tugo are fighting the Deadheads, pouring into the castle as Tugo then sees Kai has been cut on his leg. As Tugo says, "Hey, come on, we gotta get him out of here." As Ryder says, "All right, come on." As Tugo then carries him, as Ryder clears a path to get out before the fires kill them too. Vel is surrounded by these skull hunters as she pulls out Miles' sword that he gave her and she says, "The more the merrier." Out of nowhere, two of them get sliced open as we see. Athena runs in as she says, "Get away from her!" As Vel says, "Son of a fucking fuck, you're a badass." Athena and Vel stand back to back as they then start killing one after another these skull hunters together. As they kill the rest of them, Vel then stands there and says, "We gotta get out of here. Thanks for helping me." "We've got to get to," Athena says. "Vel, I'm not going." Vel stops and she says, "Athena, we gotta get out of here." Athena says, "No, it's not that. Wyoming is all I've ever known in my whole life. I may dislike my father. The only way this ends is if I deal with my father on my own terms. Besides, your people would never accept me anyway. Rob and I could never coexist. And I want you to survive, and that's why I need you to get out of here. I'm sorry. It was good knowing you. But I can't." She then walks out of the castle as Vel looks sad as she couldn't take her with her. As Vel picks up her sword and says, "Fuck." We then see Rob as he's walking through the burning castle, as he sees all the dead fighters all around, as he kills the last few deadheads. But then, the massive deadhead punches through a wall as it takes Rob and throws him across the castle.
Oh, shit.
Ragnar sees this from far and says on the megaphone, well, it appears you're the last one left, Rob." "That's sad. I was truly rooting for you. Well, really, you know. I told you I would be here for you on your special day." We see the deadhead growling at him as it's moving towards him, as Ragnar says, "You know, after all these years, Rob, after Carrie, I always thought to myself, what if I took Carrie with me that night? How would things be different? Would I still be a millionaire? But none of that matters now. I call this thing Carrie. My favorite in my collection, Rob. Just for you." Rob is down as he looks terrified, as we see the last few fighters from the army stand up in front of Rob, as they throw weapons at this thing, as it picks one of them up and rips them in half, killing them, as it swipes the rest of the fighters down with its hand and kills them. Rob then pulls out Mara's nail gun off of the ground as he fires at this thing until he runs out, but it does nothing. He then throws his knives at this thing, but it also does nothing. This deadhead busts through a wall of the castle, as Ragnar says, "Oh, come on, Rob. Carrie wants to take you with you. Come on, get creative." Rob runs up the stairs in a panic as he backs up against the wall. As we see behind him, this deadhead is busting through the walls to get to him. As Rob then sees, there's a castle cannon in the back as he runs to it, as Ragnar then looks nervous. As Rob gets it ready, as this deadhead starts running towards him. As Rob then fires, he shoots and kills this deadhead as it goes down.
Yeah.
Rob then yells, "I'm right here! Keep hiding, but this isn't over, Ragnar! None of this is!" Ragnar looks kind of happy as he then sees Rob running out of the castle. As he flees, as we see Vel's castle has fallen.
Well, at least he killed it. W's run. But can do it.
Asvel is running through the woods as she then stops to see her castle burning from far. As she looks sad and she keeps moving.
Damn, babe. Damn.
The next day, we see black smoke in the sky as Rob is walking through the woods, all alone again. As he sees from far away an old dark tunnel with very old graffiti painted on it. Rob Johnson is a killer. Take your songs out of your actions. He isn't who he says he is. Get your money back. Only a psychopath does what Rob Johnson does. As we see a deadhead walking past these quotes, as Rob kills it, as we hear a voice saying, "You know that's bullshit, right?" As Vel walks up to him and says, "You okay?" Rob looks emotional and says, "No. I think we fucking lost." They both look emotional as Vel and Rob look broken. As we zoom out from the tunnel, as we see snow starting to come down on both of them. We see Mara running through the woods as she's been running all night, as she then stops, as she falls to her knees, as she looks out of breath, as she then starts crying for Ryder and the others. But then, we hear a gun click at the back of her head as we hear, "Well, it appears we have us a loose end." As Mara then hears Ragnar behind her, as he says, "Turn around. Let me get a look at that pretty face." Mara then kicks Ragnar in the leg as he falls on his back. As she then punches him, as they all point weapons towards her, as the Enforcer and Athena and a few other Skull Hunters come up to her, and the Enforcer says, "Want me to do it? Say the word." Right here. Ragnar has a bleeding nose as he says, hold up, no. Now wait a minute. I'm liking what I'm seeing here." He gets up and says, "Listen, Sunshine, your friends are dead, and you're nothing but a loose end for me. Sorry, darling, this just doesn't end in any other way for you." He punches her down as we see a necklace flies onto the ground as she falls, as Ragnar aims his gun at her. But then, one of the Skull Hunters picks up the necklace and says, "Where did she get this?" Mara says, "It's nothing, it's just a stupid..." He shows the Enforcer and Ragnar the necklace as he says, "You recognize this name? As we see, Mara's necklace says Miller.
Oh. Shit. Oh, shit.
As Ragnar looks pissed, as they all look at each other, as Ragnar then kneels down and stares Mara in the face and says, "Lady, I want you to tell me right now what affiliates you with this name." "You've been knocked down in the city. What did you bring back for me? A vicious preoccupation with a darkness underneath. There's something left to know.
Flames continue for me. I don't have any issues with it. 10 out of 10. That shit was crazy. Action was insane. The big deadhead was insane. That fight was fired. A couple guys try to help him out. Unfortunately, doesn't work until he uses the damn cannon fire. Badass Rob. Crazy speech, crazy start off, with everybody trying to hold the fort, then eventually the place going on fire. All the crazy fights with Vel, Athena eventually helping Vel, using Miles' awesome sword, which I thought was cool. Just a lot of badass fighting there. Just a lot of little things. And then even in the ending, of course, Mara with the Miller necklace, intenseness there, and kind of leaving you in a limbo, per se, on, like, ooh, what does that mean, So crazy for sure. And it moved pretty damn quickly, too. It all moved pretty fast. Yeah, 10 out of 10, I don't have any issues. Damn good. I like the neatness. The action was fire, the character drivenness is good, and yeah, just a lot to it. It's good. Alrighty. Last but not least, one that's the longest. Hour and 3. Holy shit. We're in for a longie here. Let's get it. Like some of this. Oh, man. Respect that message too much to me. I read that whole thing. W message. It's pinned in the comments section.
Flashback to 2042. We see Rob and Jade standing back to back as deadheads are surrounding them in every direction. As he says, and go! As they kill multiple deadheads coming at them from up the hill.
It's crazy.
Afterwards, we see Rob and Jade standing among the dead bodies all around them, as he says, nice going there. Jade says, you think it was better than last time? Rob says, oh, definitely. Jade says, Dad, how much longer are we going to be on this hunt? I kind of miss home, Rob says, yeah, I know. Hopefully another day or so. Food's been limited lately. As Jade then looks out into the distance and smiles and says, oh, shit, look! As they then see from far an old lodge, as Rob says, hey, good catch, kiddo. They walk up to the entrance as they both knock. Rob signals as they push in. As we see, Jade runs up to a deadhead as she then kills a few of them. As she then sees Rob kills another one as well. As he checks upstairs, as he then walks down and says, it's clear. This will be a good spot to rest. We'll head home tomorrow.
Nice.
Later that night, we see them sitting inside of this lodge with a fire going, as Rob says. Good going out there today. Jade says, thanks. So does this mean I'm ready for my own hunting trips? Rob says, oh, no, sweetheart. That's not what I meant. Let's just stick to our own for now, okay? Maybe at least till you're a little bit older. Jade says, Dad, I'm older now. I can handle it. Rob looks worried and says, I know you can, sweetheart. It scares me, frankly. All the things you're capable of. It scares me because, frankly, you are capable, I think. I just love you so much, I don't want anything to happen to you. The thought of you being out there by yourself, surviving, defending yourself, even just for a night or two, it scares the absolute hell out of me. Jade says, I know, Dad. You know, when you first took me in, after you rescued me, I didn't even know how to talk to you for a long time, but you finally taught me what it was like to feel like myself again. You did that, Dad. Rob says, well, before you, I was a mess. Tell you the truth. Jade says, no, you weren't. How so? You seem to have been doing fine before you met me. Rob laughs and says, oh, I didn't have it all together. Honey, before you, my life was a mess. I once worked for a man that didn't care about me or what I was doing. All he cared about was getting money in his bank account and the money he made off of me. And eventually, I said enough. Eventually, I realized what kind of a maniac he was. I lost my best friend to drugs out there on the road. And my boss didn't even care about that, because he was making money off of me. But he wanted somebody to take the fall, so he killed my wife. And he blamed it on her. She was pregnant. I was originally going to be a father a long time ago. But I didn't get the chance because of him. Because of that man. Then I left his company altogether. I started my own music business, but eventually, I convinced myself that I wasn't the problem. He was. Jade says, wow. I'm sorry. Oh, can I ask, Dad? Did you deal with this man? Did you lock him up or whatever they used to do back in the day? Rob says, I never got a chance to, unfortunately. That man got away. No, you know what I thought when that happened? I gotta kill him. That was my first thought. I gotta find a way to murder this man, to get revenge for everything he did. I actually told myself there was no way I could be happy without being right in front of him, seeing him dead, all that type of shit. And for a while, that was my thought. But him being dead, it isn't gonna change what happened to me. It isn't gonna change that I accepted the job that he gave me, and then he ruined my life because I accepted that job. It's not gonna bring me any satisfaction, and it certainly isn't gonna bring me my wife back, or my unborn child, and my best friend back then. And even though it was his fault, I was part of the problem because I went along with it for all that time. And I let those things happen. Jade says, well, you couldn't have known. Rob says, well, maybe not, but a good while after the world turned into what it did, I led my own people for a time. Jade looks shocked and says, wait, really? Rob says, it's true. It was actually a little bit before I found you. I was in a war with a lot of bad people. People that tried to reshape the world into the way they wanted it. I thought I was making a difference. Christ, I started a rebellion. The truth is, none of what I did mattered. Jade says, well, why'd you leave, Dad? Are they even still around anymore? Rob looks sad and kind of nervous as he says, It's been years. I don't know. I had to get out of there. A lot of people died, honey. A lot. So many died. But when I found you, I knew I couldn't bring you back to that. I did it so I could raise you in a good environment, without horrible people manipulating you or telling you a way to be or anything like that. That place wasn't good. Jade says, I had no idea. Dad, you've been out here all this time for me? Rob says, yeah. Because for once, I want to be able to have a family on my own terms the way I want it. And that's why I'm so protective of you, honey. I just want you safe. But I want you to promise me, if I die, Jade says, Dad, stop. Rob says, no, just listen. If I die, promise me you'll always remember everything I taught you. Promise. Jade says, only if you promise that if I die first, you won't lose who you are, and that you'll feel that you can be the leader and the hero that you apparently were. Don't stop what you were doing just because of me, Dad. Don't. Rob chuckles and says, I won't have to promise you, because nobody kills me. You know that by now. Jade says, right. Well, just don't forget. Rob says, I won't. As we see them sitting around the fire, as they both look out at the sky together.
Damn! Breaking my heart. That's great. Oh man. I appreciate the shout out, Howie. I didn't think you were doing it that for. That's great. That's great. Son of officially is a guy though. He's a comedy needs a guy. Needs to guy. Shit.
Currently, we see Ragnar pulls his gun on Mara as he says, Look at me! Why? Why Miller? I haven't heard that name in years. One of the Skull Hunters says. The Miller and West family are dangerous people. They've been all around the country. But for a long time, we could never find them. We always hear about them though. Where the hell have they been hiding out at? Mara looks nervous as she says, I can explain, okay? I can explain. Ragnar says, Fine. Fine. You better tell me the truth here. Because I'm this fucking close to blowing your brains out. Mara then looks scared for her life and says, I'm not a West. Okay? Or a Miller. I'm not. I swear. I have nothing to do with those people. I have nothing to do with that name. That's just what we called ourselves. The Skull Hunter then says, Then who the hell are you? Why are you carrying this necklace? Mara says, Because we're not them. But we had to be. The West family picked the wrong fight with the wrong people a long time ago. And you just so happen to be looking at a victim of them right now. These people were savages. These people were killers. And many years ago, there was a fight across the border. They killed, they took. The West family were monsters, and everyone knew it. People were afraid to even approach these people. They became hostile and unapproachable, and their leader, after he died, they became the problem. The enforcer says, So where are they now? Mara looks at them with a death stare and says, The West family isn't active anymore. Years ago, they got into the wrong fight with the wrong people. The West family had been gone for years. Ragnar and the others look shocked to hear this. as Mara says, "You think you've been hunting the West family? We've conned you the entire time. No, you're just too stupid to see. You've been following a bunch of nobodies, people that are just trying to survive day after day. I mean, Christ, we even fooled the rock star. We're just a family that thought that the only way to protect ourselves is to tell people we're them, so we could live in peace from others. Kind of like yourself, actually. The West family is gone. I'm sorry for your luck. And unless you want to be known as the man that killed a woman and her unborn child, I suggest you put that fucking gun down." The enforcer looks mad as Ragnar laughs and says, "It all makes sense now." Mara says, "So, Ragnar, after all this time, you got the answer you wanted? You got the truth from us? It's time for you to decide. What kind of man are you? Are you a natural born leader, like you say you are? Or are you still that rich piece of shit that gunned down a woman and her unborn child? The choice is yours. All yours." Ragnar keeps the gun to her head as he then starts to lower it as he says, "Take her. We'll bring her back to Wyoming. After the kid is born, I want this woman executed. Give the child to a new family. We'll raise the kid right. If you're lying, sweetheart, well, we'll just kill you anyway." As they load her up in the back of a big vehicle, as they take her, as they all take off with Mara hostage, as we see, Mara has told Ragnar the truth.
Wow. Really? That's insane.
Back with Rob and Vel. We now see Rob and Vel standing back to back as we see a group of deadheads surrounding them. As Rob says, "We gotta find the others, Vel." Vel kills a few deadheads as she says, "Yeah, we fucking do. You think they got out?" Rob says, "Well, I saw Mara running into the woods. Ryder helped her get out." He kills a few more as she says, "Alright, well, we'll circle back around then. Fucking find them. We've gotten this far, we need to find the rest. We need to get them back before Ragnar does." Rob says, "Yeah, it's just what I'm worried about." We see more deadheads surrounding Rob and Vel, as Vel says, "Rob!" Rob gets tackled down by a few as they're on top of him. Vel is fighting off several as she's trying to get to him, as she says, "Rob, just hang on."
Shit.
Out of nowhere, we see a machete go through the back of its head as we see someone saved Rob. Ryder then says, "Take my hand." As we see Ryder, Tugo, and Kai running into the fight with their weapons, as Vel joins in, as they all kill the rest of these deadheads together and defeat the rest.
Woo. Big W's. Big W's.
They all sit by a log as Rob gives Kai some water as he says, "Here, we don't need you falling down." Kai says, "I'm fine. We should save it." Vel says, "So is that all of us?"
Yeah.
Ryder says, No, my mother was on patrol. She has to be out here somewhere. She has to be." Vel says, "Don't worry, okay? We'll find her. We will." Ryder says, "Mara, did anyone see her get out?" Rob says, "I did. But it was so crazy. I'm sorry. I haven't seen her." Ryder looks scared and gets up and says, "No, she's out here somewhere, and I'm going to find her." Rob stops him in his tracks as Ryder says, "Step aside, Johnson. That's the mother of my child. I have to get to her." Rob says, all right, I understand. But you're not going to do this by yourself. We'll all go. Find Mara, find Alara, then figure out where to go next. Come on." We see the snowstorm is starting to get worse as he says, "We gotta go. We gotta go now." As they all move together to try to find the rest of their people. Back with Mara. We see her riding in the back of the armored van as we see the Enforcer and Athena up front. As Ragnar is sitting with his men next to Mara, as she looks in this van, and Ragnar says, "Look familiar? Well, this is the exact van we took you in after we found you that night and killed Rob's daughter. I saw him last night, by the way. Oh, I gave him a big old blast from the past." Ragnar smiles as Mara looks worried and says, "Did you kill him?" Ragnar says, "Ooh, unfortunately, no. You see, Rob was put up to the challenge, and he passed. And that's what life is, Mara. It's a challenge. Whether or not you'll live long enough to raise your baby, you'll get to find out whether or not you pass as well." Athena says, "That's enough, Dad." Ragnar says, "It's just honest. You may not be the Western Miller family, but you still killed a lot of my men, so justice will be served." Out of nowhere, they get hit by another vehicle. We then see Alara, Hunter, and some others come out of their vehicle. As they open fire on the van, Ragnar ducks and gets down as he uses the Enforcer as a shield to protect himself. As some of the Skull Hunters are getting lit up by our group, Mara then sees her chance as she then runs out. As Alara says, "Mara, I'll cover you." As Hunter then throws her a gun from far, as Mara takes it with one hand and fires towards them. As she then fires towards Ragnar, as she shoots the Enforcer in front of him. As she then runs back to Alara and the others, as Alara then says, "Hunter, come on!" As we see the Enforcer, Athena, and Ragnar all running away, as Ragnar looks pissed, as we see Mara broke free.
Oh, shit. W's Mara.
Alara then hugs Mara and says, "Are you okay?" Mara says, "Yeah." "How did you find me?" Alara says, "Well, we saw what was left of the castle. We were guarding the theme park like requested, but they didn't show. Then when we saw the smoke, we knew they went to you, and it looked like they came for Vel directly. And then when we saw they had you, we had to push in. Did you see my son last night?" Mara then says, "He's actually the reason I got out, but I haven't seen him since I got out." Alara then says, "All right, hop inside. We're going to go find them right now." As they speed off to find the rest of our people.
Shit.
We see Rob and the others walking the roads as we hear a vehicle pulling up to them. Rob and the others pull out their weapons as they get ready, but then we see Mara, Alara, and Hunter get out as Ryder runs to Mara as he hugs her and says, "Are you okay?" Alara says, "Hey there, kiddo. Got a hug for me?" Ryder then hugs her too and says, "I'm glad you're both alive. I'm so fucking happy you're alive." Mara then says, "Well, you can thank Mrs. West. If she didn't come in there and save me that way, I'm pretty sure I would have been dead." Hunter then says, "Yeah, dudes, I saw the whole thing. Tugo, what do you call him again?" Tugo says, Ragtard. Hunter says, "Right. Yeah, Ragtard had her, and he wanted to use her against us. Just like he did with all of us." Rob says, "Well, he's been using us in his own life for way too damn long." Vel says, "Well, not any fucking more. I'm getting my very own orgasm just by the thought of us being back together again. It's really fucking warming my heart. But we don't have any fighters left. And the longer we stay out here, the more than likely they're going to kill us all. So what do? They seriously outnumber us now. Badly." Rob says, "Yeah, I know, I've been thinking that. But I'm not going to stop until I kill Ragnar, no matter what. But right now, I think we got to get away from here. For the time being, at least. As far as we can. Until we're strong enough for all of us to kill the rest of these people. If we keep fighting like this..." He looks at Kai and he looks at all of them, tired and bruised, and says, "If we keep fighting like this, we're only going to get ourselves killed." Vel says, "I agree. We got to think about Mara, the baby." Alara says, "Well, we're running on fumes on this thing. Come on, we'll see how far we can get. Then we'll walk to wherever we go next." Vel says, "Yeah, but where would we go?" Alara looks at her and says, "Where the West family would go. It's where it all began. The place that mattered. The same place that your master taught you. The same place that we all built relationships and bonded. It's far, but if we try, we can make it." Ryder says, "Mom, why would we ever go back there?" Alara says, because Ragnar doesn't know about it. And if he doesn't know where we are, when we're ready, we'll attack on our own terms. And if we don't, we'll hopefully have a safer place for that child that's about to be born. As they all get in and drive off together. Flashback. We see Rob in his garage putting on his biker jacket as he hears a woman says, "Mr. Johnson? Mr. Johnson." Rob says, "Yeah." We see a woman walks up to him and says, "You sure you won't be coming along on this little trip?" Rob says, "Of course we do. Haley, you and your people always are welcome here. I've made my friends over the years, and getting to know your people, you're definitely needed on this one." Haley says, "All right. Well, I appreciate it. This is your show today, Mr. Johnson." Rob says, "It's not entirely my show. Some of your people equally led the way with me through this whole thing. So the way I kind of look at it is, it's our show." Haley says, "All right. Well, our show it is." Rob says, "I honestly wish we didn't have to do this. If the world hadn't gone mad, who knows where I'd be right now." Haley says, "Yeah, I know where I'd be. I'd probably be some chef in some big restaurant by now. My husband always said I was the greatest cook he had ever met." Rob laughs and says, "Well, it's better than mine. Sitting in jail, all the fake news say a bunch of bullshit about me that isn't true, just to entertain themselves all day. Yeah, that'd have been no life, though it would have been easier." A man knocks at the door and says, "Ready for go, boss?" Rob says, "All right." As they walk out together. Currently, we see Rob and the others walking through this blizzard. As we see the sun is going down, as Rob says to Vel, "You okay?" Vel says, "Have to be. You know, I keep thinking about what my master always taught me. No matter how many times I blame myself, it's never going to bring back anything I lost. I can be upset for the people that died. I can be upset about the people that died last night. I can be upset about the way that it went down. And I can be upset about the way it's just us now." But he always told me, "Until you're alone in the grass, with nothing but a sword in your hand, then you can decide whether you live or die. Because nobody else will care at that point, whether or not you do or you don't. Until you have nobody to fight for, it should absolutely matter whether you live or die. But until that moment happens, we'll keep fighting for another day, Mr. Johnson. And that's all right by me." Rob says, "You know, I stayed out here to keep my daughter safe. I wanted to let her grow up in a way where she wouldn't have to be ruled by anyone or told a certain way to live. And now she's gone. It's funny, as soon as she died, everything controlled us. Suddenly it feels like my purpose is back to what it was before when I led my own people." Vel says, "What is it?" But then, we see the shadows of multiple men standing in the woods in front of them.
God damn it! God damn it!
Rob and the others look panicked as they all try to turn back, but then even more are coming up behind them as they are getting surrounded. Rob sees a clearing and says, "There, go." They all run for their lives as they all run and run as fast as they can. As we see the Skull Hunters pulling out their weapons, as we then see in the shadows Ragnar covered in blood of his fallen soldiers. As he looks angry and says, "The end is near, Johnson."
The end needs to be near for your stupid ass. Funny ass.
As we see them running as fast as they can, as we then see an old shack from a distance, as Rob sees it, says, "There, go." As they run towards it, as we see this is the same shack that Rob and Jade found years ago. As we see Ragnar marching towards them with his knife, as Rob and the others all lock themselves in, as Rob says, "Okay, we need to find a way out of here." Vel says, "There's nothing but what we got." We see the Skull Hunters surrounding them all around the shack from the outside, as Rob and the others look around outside the window, as we see there is nowhere to go.
You need to use it to your advantage to kill him. Honestly, that's what you gotta do. It's gonna pass.
Ragnar slowly walks up to the door of the shack and says, "Rob, there's no use to hiding anymore. Finally, after all this time, there's no more defenses, excuses, big armies, or any carries getting in the way of this. It's time you and I settled this like men." Rob looks angry and says, "Then how about you come in here and face us? We're right here." Ragnar signals his men as they light a torch and pass it to Ragnar, as Ragnar says, "Now, Rob, all these years we've known each other, I wouldn't think I'd have to tell you by now. I don't play by the rules, Johnson." He smashes a window in and throws the torch in as he lets a fire start inside of the shack with everyone inside. Everyone looks panicked as the fire spreads, as Ragnar is saying, "Rob, you know, the first time I met you, I almost didn't walk over to introduce myself. True story. But something sparked in me. I guess I could just help myself. You have this pull about you, Rob." As we see the fires spreading, as Ryder says, "We gotta get the hell out of here." Ryder goes to the other side as he busts the window down, as the smoke is running through the entire place very quickly. As Alara and Mara get out first, as they jump out, Mara is coughing as Alara sees 3 Skull Hunters in front of them, as she says, "Stay away from my granddaughter." As she then starts killing all 3 of them, as she slices all of them up, Vel and Tugo jump out next, as Vel then says, "Rob, come on! Rob, come on!" We see Ragnar and the other Skull Hunters are busting down the front door as they come in charging, as we then see Kai and Hunter are the last ones after, as Hunter jumps out, as Rob says, "Kai, come on! Kai, come on!" Kai then says, "I ain't going nowhere, brother. Let's take these motherfuckers right here." Skull Hunters come running in after them with weapons, as Rob chops them in half with his sword. Ragnar sees this going on his way in, as Kai kills one too, as we then see one of the Skull Hunters throws a knife towards Kai as he then ducks, as Rob then slices and kills 3 other men. As we see, the fire is all on the walls, as we then see the smoke is getting darker, as he says, "Kai, get the hell out of here!" Kai then runs to the window as he then stops. Rob stands there as he sees Ragnar in front of him, as he hears, "I want you to promise me, if I die." Jade says, "Dad, stop." Rob says, "No, just listen. If I die, promise me you'll never forget anything I taught you. Promise." Jade says, "Only if you promise that if I die first, you won't lose who you are. That you can be that leader, that hero, like you apparently were." Rob smiles and says, "I won't have to promise, because nobody's gonna kill me." Jade says, "Right. Well, just don't forget." Rob says, "I won't." As Rob then sees Ragnar, as he then charges towards him and pushes him into the fire, as they both go down together, Rob then says, "Any man that stands behind the flames of fire is no goddamn man." Ragnar smiles and says, "And a man that protects his family. Oh, wait. You never could."
Fuck you.
As we see the rest of our people getting out of there and running for their lives, Rob sees them get out, and Rob says, I just did, Mark Daniels. I just did. Because all it ever came down to was the artist and the con man. Val and the others are running into the woods, but then, out of nowhere, the shack gets blown up from behind them. And as the shack is up in flames, it ends Rob and Ragnar's life. As he dies, so that Val and his family could live. Val has tears coming down her face. Get up. Get up. Get up. We gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go, Val. We gotta go. Flashback. We see Rob sitting on a dock by the river as we hear, damn, this view is nice. We see a man walks up to him and hands him a beer. As he sits with him, and Rob says, thanks. Where's Rivers? I figured she'd want to be a part of this little drinking session. The guy says, Rivers has been bedridden all fucking day from last night. There was no way she was coming up today. Rob laughs and he says, well, all things considered, I think we had a pretty good day today. The wall's finally finished. We finally have a proper home, Tom. Tom says, cheers to that. Rob says, you know, all things considered, I'm happy with the way it all turned out. I mean, sure, it may not have been what we expected, but I think this will do fine. At least until one day, we get the victory everybody's been waiting for. Tom says, you know, I've been meaning to ask you something, Robbie boy. I don't mean to pry, because I thought your music was fucking awesome and everything, but where do you think career-wise you'd be at this point, you know, if the world hadn't gone to shit? Rob says, well, I'd still be in jail. And if I didn't do that, I probably just would have been depressed and alone. Had a bunch of money in the account, not really sure what to do with myself, would probably get an early retirement at one point. Tom says, an early retirement. That sounds nice. Rob says, it does. No, I don't know if I could ever stop playing music. It's in my blood, man. Though it's hard to tell with what happened. Where the hell I'd end up, really. What about you? Tom says, oh, I'd probably keep the bar running that I had. Feel like I would probably relocate it to a bigger place, you know, at one point. Maybe expand the business. Add more to it. But you know, I would have never met Rivers. Or my daughter. At least not in the way I became her father. Things would have been different. Some for the better, some for worse. That's why I don't think about it too often. Sure, things may have been easier, but it does make me wonder how things would have been if the world hadn't ended. Rob says, what about now? What do you see happening for us in the future? Tom says, hopefully something peaceful and easy at the end of all this. Maybe with a little chaos in between. Rob says, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, okay. I'm already in the festival. I didn't even finish it. 5 minutes in. Alright, this damn.
Currently, we see them running through the woods as they all look broken and defeated. Vel says, he knew he was going to do that. He knew he was going to do that. He knew. Tugo asks, how do you know? Vel says, because I could see it in his eyes. He had nothing else to go on for. He thought saving us was his last resort. We then see A frozen lake ahead of them, as Alara says, "Alright, let's turn back." But then we see several skull hunters on their tail from far behind them, as Ryder says, "Okay, we go." Vel says, "What, across the ice? We'll never make that." Ryder says, "Well, our options are out, Vel. We gotta go." Mara says, "Yeah, come on, we can do this. Come on." As Vel then takes the first step on the ice, as she says, "Okay, alright, we're good from here. Come on." As we then see them crossing the frozen lake, as they see a few frozen deadheads just floating beneath them, as they cross over the river. We see they're almost at the end of the lake. As we then see the ice is starting to crack, as Ryder says, "Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go." As we see Vel makes it across, as she then waits for them. Tugo then also gets to the other side as well. As Hunter then gets to them. As Alara then hangs back and says, "Come on, son." As we then see the ice cracking around Ryder and Mara, as they both look nervous, as Alara says, "Come on, you can do it." But then we see a few deadheads stepping onto the ice lake, as we see the ice is starting to crack even more, as they all look panicked.
Ugh.
We then see the burned out shack, as we see someone's eyes open, as we hear a ringing, as we see Rob opens his eyes, as we see dead soldiers all around him. We see Kai's corpse is then laying there, as Rob screams, "Kai! Kai! Damn it!" We then hear something from across the room, as we see the shadow of a man standing across the room, as we see Ragnar is slowly getting up, as we see half his face has been burned. He stares Rob down as he says, You. Rob reaches for his sword as Ragnar kicks the sword away, as he steps on Rob's arm, as he has a burn on his arm, as he then stands over him and pushes down on the burn on Rob's arm, as he looks at him and stares him down, as he says, "Fight is over, Rob. You lost. Fucking admit it, you lost." Rob then kicks Ragnar to the ground as he falls. Rob picks up his sword as he then starts swiping at Ragnar. As Ragnar dodges every shot, as we see, Rob is in a bad condition as Ragnar then swings as he cuts Rob on the other arm. Ragnar then says, "You just couldn't stop, could you? Now we're both gonna die." Rob then says, "No, you are. You know, when you started talking about the first day we met, I couldn't just stop thinking to myself, what if I turned your offer down? What if I turned down the job offer you gave me and I spent the rest of my days out on the goddamn streets? Maybe I should have. Maybe I wouldn't have had anything. True. Maybe I wouldn't have had a musical career. Maybe I wouldn't have had any success or money. And maybe somebody would have shot me in the streets and taken my change. But at least I would have died with my pride. At least I wouldn't have sold my soul to the goddamn devil. You ruined my life, Ragnar. Ragnar, you ruined my life. Every fucking bit of it. You ruined everyone's lives. But now, finally, you don't get to hurt them anymore. Those lives, those people, my fucking family, They're gone. But not the ones you killed. The ones you didn't. The ones that you thought you deserved. And you will never get them back. My family did survive. You didn't take shit from me. He swings at Ragnar as Ragnar punches Rob, as he punches him twice, as they both fight, as Rob then kicks Ragnar down, as Ragnar then rolls to the side, as he then kicks Rob down to the ground, as Ragnar then starts punching Rob over and over and over again, as he then slams Rob's face against the wall over again until Rob's face is nothing but blood. He then kicks Rob to the ground, as he then sees Rob is down, as he then is barely able to move, as Ragnar then stands over Rob, as he then sees a candlestick at the side. Ragnar grabs the candlestick as he stands over Rob, and then he stops. He stops himself. He stops the whole thing. As he sits there, and when it comes down to it, Ragnar stands there with a choice to make as he says, God damn it, Johnson.
Oh, God. Damn it.
Back with the
Yeah,
others,
hey.
we see the deadheads on
Yeah.
the frozen lake as Ryder and Mara are trying to get across as he says, come on, come on. Alara then sees. The enforcer has found them as he then starts walking across the river as the ice is cracking. As Alara says, Ryder and Mara, get down. The enforcer then throws a knife towards them. The knife goes into Mara's leg as she screams out, as she then falls. As we see, the ice breaks. Mara falls into the water as Ryder then catches her on time as he says, Mara! Mara! Mara looks scared as Ryder says, hang on, baby. Hang on. Just hold my hand. Hold my hand. As he tries pulling her up, but several deadheads are beneath her, grabbing at her feet as they are trying to pull her leg as she's trying to kick them off of her, but her left leg is bleeding very badly. As we see the blood in the water, as the deadheads are grabbing at her feet, Alara sees the ice breaking around both of them as she yells, Ryder! As Mara looks sad as she looks at him and says, I love you. I fucking love you. I love you, Ryder. Ryder then says, no, don't let go. Don't let go. Mara, don't fucking let go. Don't fucking let go. The deadheads pull her down as she lets go of Ryder's arm. As she sinks to the bottom, as we see her falling to her death. As the deadheads tear Mara apart, Ryder screams out, No! 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 Alara then says, we gotta go, son. We gotta go. Ryder then sees the enforcer standing at the other end of the lake, filled with rage. He then starts walking towards him as we see deadheads get in his way, as he starts slicing them up, as he then tackles the enforcer, as we then see the ice is cracking around both of them, as Ryder does not care anymore, as he punches the enforcer over and over and over again, as deadheads then jump Ryder, as he then has to get them off of him, as he then fights these deadheads, as we see he is filled with rage and anger, as we then see the deadheads get in their way, as the enforcer runs away like a bitch, as Ryder then gets pulled back by Alara, as she says, we gotta go, son. We gotta go now. Son, we gotta go. now. Alara then pulls him back and fights through the deadheads as she and her son make it to the other side of the river with the others, as they all lose Mara.
Should have fucking just grabbed him and threw him at the damn river.
Ryder breaks down and says, "It should have been me down there. It should have fucking been me down there. I couldn't fucking help her. I should have been the one. I should have been the one. She didn't need this. She didn't deserve this. She didn't deserve any of this. I told us to go across the water. I fucking told us to go. I told us to go." Alara says, "Hey, don't say that." Ryder says, "I should be the one that's fucking dead. Nothing is fair in this world. Nothing is fair. Nothing is fair. Nothing is fair. Nothing is fair." Alara hugs her son and says, "I got you, son. I got you." As they all look sad and horrified as the rest of the family survives the night.
Look.
Stand on the grain of the timber.
The next morning, we see the enforcers stumbling through the woods as we hear, "Hey, what the fuck did you do?" Athena comes up behind him and grabs him and pulls him to the side as she says, "Do you realize that woman was pregnant? And you killed her?" The enforcer says, "Step away, sunshine. Unless you want to be at the mercy of your father." Athena says, "Oh, I'm already at the mercy of my father. So it doesn't matter what the hell you threaten me with. You killed a woman and her unborn child." The enforcer says, "Well, your little friends are as good as dead, darling." Athena then lies for their protection and says, "They are dead. The rest died on that lake. They're nothing but deadheads now. Thanks a lot." The enforcer says, "Well, they had it coming. But we still have Rob." Athena says, "Doesn't matter. Your search is over. Our search is over. We won." The enforcer says, "Yeah, we did. It didn't go the way you thought it would, did it?" "No. Ain't no damn fairy tale here, darling. This story was never gonna end happy." We see Ragnar walks onto an open field as we see what's left of the snowstorm. As he then takes a deep breath, as he looks out into the sky with his two open arms in the air, as he smiles in victory.
The price to pay for all that we have done. Turn my eyes away and watch the setting sun.
One week later, we see Wyoming. As we see, it's sunny out now. We see the temperatures have dropped. As we see, Wyoming is back in order again. As Ragnar looks out at his town and says, "Tonight's the night we bring Wyoming back for the people." The enforcer, Athena, and other skull hunters are standing behind him as he says, "May the prey live on for generations. This night will be one to remember."
Now loyalty's the Let's go. My heart is full of hope. I'm bleeding.
We see Rob sitting in a prison cell as he hears a door opening. As we see, a skull hunter gives him his food for the day as he says, "Eat, Mr. Johnson. Ragnar wants you strong for tonight." He starts walking away as Rob says, "So what happens now?" The man says, "You know what happens now. You're quickly becoming a legend to these people. You showed them not to be afraid with your music. And now, you're going to get the chance to do so for the rest of your life. To the day you die." The man leaves as Rob looks angry, as he hears another man in the cell next to him, as we hear, "You couldn't get away, huh?" We see the man is Desmond, as we see he's in the cell next to him, as Rob says, "Excuse me?" Desmond says, "You didn't get away?" "Neither did I." Rob says, "Then who are you?" Desmond smiles and says, "Mr. Johnson, I'm just another victim of the prey."
That shit is crazy.
Back with Vel and the others, we see Ryder sitting by the edge of a cliff, just looking out at the sunset. As we see Alara, Vel, Tugo, and Hunter, as they all look depressed and sad. Alara walks up to him and says, "We're about 100 miles out from Washington, D.C. Just a little more, and we'll get there." Ryder says, "All right." Alara says, "There is nothing that you could have done. Just like we couldn't save Rob, or Mara, or even your father." Ryder says, "Everything we've been through, Mom. Everything we've lost. What's the point of going on? I mean, seriously, what is the fucking point?" Alara says, "You can't think like that. There's more to this. There's an answer to this. Now, son, you've trusted me for years. I need you to trust me one more time. You get up, and you give me that final push that I know you have inside of you." Ryder is crying as he says, "After all these years, after all the death, people we've known, how do you know?" And as Alara looks at her son, as she stands there and says, "Take my hand."
And that's what you've done too. Nothing more to say. No more race to play. The winner takes it all.
As we hear an audience screaming and cheering, as we see a full arena of people in the Wyoming Stadium, as we see Ragnar at the top of the arena, as he's sitting in a big chair, like a king, as we see the enforcer sitting next to him on one side, looking happy, as Ragnar then looks at the other side, and he sees Athena, who looks at him with nothing but hatred, as he says, "I get the best seats in the house." One of the civilians then says, "I haven't seen this guy yet. Is he any good?" Ragnar smiles and says, "Oh, I pick nothing but the best." As we see Rod standing there with a skull hunter, as he gives him his guitar, as the guy says, "There's lots of people out there waiting for you, Mr. Johnson. Give them the show of their lives, all right?" Rob just nods and doesn't say a word. The music starts as we hear, "Ladies and gentlemen, the man you've all been waiting for, the man that influenced y'all in horrible times. He always helps and he always saves. Mr. Rob Johnson." The crowd goes crazy as Rob runs out and starts performing. As he starts singing, as he looks up at Ragnar, as he does nothing but stares him down. As Ragnar smiles at Rob, as Rob looks at him with a death stare. As we then see him doing a guitar solo, as we then see a man walking up to him on the stage, as Rob takes his guitar and gets ready to kill the man, as then we see the security stops him this time. As the man is ripped off the stage, as Rob just stands there, stunned, as he keeps playing. And this time, Rob doesn't kill a man. As he keeps playing for the people, he finishes the song as the audience cheers for him, as Ragnar looks happy up there. And as we see happy people, and as we hear multiple people chanting his name, and as we see a small smile breaks through as he stands there, and as the prey cheer his name.
Tommy Bastard.
No self-confidence. What you see? That takes it all.
That's the end.
That takes it all.
Another shout out. What the? Goddamn. What the hell? Oh man, this whole movie. What the? Jesus. What in the world? Oh my goodness.
We see Rob sitting in his cell as he's looking out at the window. As he sees the stars in the sky, as he says, "This can't be it. This can't be all there is." As we overhear the Skull Hunter saying, "Hey, there's the new guy." As we see they're bringing in a new prisoner. As the Skull Hunter says, "You're a very valuable man. I have a feeling you're going to serve us well. Just like Mr. Johnson here." As the Skull Hunters step out, as Rob goes up to the cell bars, as he sees this man sitting across from him in the other cell in the shadows, as the man says to him,
"But look at us. Here we are again. Goddamn. Good to see you, Mr. Johnson."
Oh, shit. Wow. Wow. What the fuck? Jonathan. I mean, I already gave it that, but in case if somebody thought my rating changed, still a perfect 10. Honestly, you blew me the fuck away. I did not expect that at all. Them two surviving. I thought one for sure was gonna die. And neither of them died. But yet the cunt still won. Which was the most disappointing part ever. Unfucking real. But at the same time, insanity. This bastard just cannot die. Gets burned after his motherfucking face and he still fucking wins. What the fuck? Insanity. I'm lost for words. God damn. Marwa dying was insanity. That was terrible. Horrible. Every way possible. Just brutal. Just wow. The fight between Ryder and the Enforcer. Insane. Epic. Necessary, though I wish he actually killed him. That would have been better. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But, you know. Crazy fun. The battle itself was insane. Badass and heroic. Of course, it didn't end in the way I anticipated it. Again, insanity. The good thing is at least everybody else got out. Good news for that. Let's see. It just insanity. Wow. Well, the story definitely continues in the main series, which is definitely going to be interesting for sure. What a way to end the Prey, though. You ended it in a way where it is the end, but at the same time, the main series continues. And we'll get more answers there, which is insane, like I stated. 10 out of 10 for all three of these parts. I don't have any complaints. It had ups, it had downs, it had insane, deep, dark situations that were just very unexpected in some cases, expected in others. And despite being somewhat lengthy, it moved very quickly. And obviously, you've seen I gave it a 10 halfway through it, just because it was just damn good. I mean, completely threw me off. Of course, to be fair, truly just crazy. But as I stated, damn good. You know, damn good. So, 10 out of 10 for me. Damn good series. I recommend giving it a chance. I appreciate the 3 shout-outs that you gave me, Mr. Dan. That is insane. Unexpected. Definitely unexpected in many ways. Twice in the final part. One at the intro and then one at the end, which is crazy. And yet again in part 39, which is crazy, in the intro once more. So, truly insane, but much love, my homie. I appreciate the shout out. I did not expect that at all. I mean, you know, it's truly an honor. Much love, really. And I'm happy I reviewed the series. They're fun, entertaining, captivating, intriguing, pulls you in, and brings you on an insane journey through hell and back. That's for sure. That's for sure. Wow. Definitely insane to see where the series goes from here, with the main series coming back with the second half during the summertime, and the new series spinoff, Lonely Roads, in the fall. I'm definitely excited to continue that. Of course, we'll be right on the dot with all the new episodes, or I should say the new parts. And we'll be consistent with every part. Of course, it'll be individual. Obviously, now that we're fully 100% up to date with World Gone Mad, 100%. In general, you know, the whole series. And obviously Fly By Night next year. And so much more to come. So, definitely do stay tuned. You already know I'll be here to react to it and see what we got. So, just definitely do stay tuned. Of course, I'll have their own playlist for each one that we cover. And, yeah, definitely will be exciting to, continue season 5, the main series, and then start the new spinoffs, Lonely World, or Lonely Roads, excuse me. So, can't wait. Crazy to see where it goes next. But I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know your guys' thoughts, reviews, ratings, reactions, all that good stuff. Feel free to leave it in the comment section or in the chat. Either one doesn't matter to me. I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys have to think. And let me know what you thought of my reaction to this series, of course. It's definitely been a crazy one, without a question. Of course, the playlist for my entire reaction from beginning to end is in the description, so definitely do check out that playlist. Of course, 100% up to date as well. And of course, I will have my World Gone Mad playlist for season 1 through 5 and then some, however many seasons that gets. Obviously, we know 6 for sure, 100%. I'm thinking up to 9 possibly, so we'll see where that actually goes. Yeah. So, obviously, I'll have that playlist in the description for that, as well as Lonely Roads. So that playlist will be down there as well. So feel free to keep an eye out for it. I'll put it in every single part that we did here of the Prey, as it has to do with World Gone Mad in general. So, feel free to check those out. Of course, check out Dan Reviews' channel. Link is in the description as per usual. Shout out to him, of course, makes fire content and it's fire series. I definitely recommend checking out his stuff. As well as shout out to Mega Matt. Links for his channel is in the description as well, of course. Big help with Dan Reviews, fire content, and been a big help with this series, of course, and everything under the sun. Definitely you should check him out as well as the World Gone Mad Complete Universe. You already know. So check them all out. Links are in the description. Big support, big love. Again, hit that like button if you guys haven't. 5-6 likes. That would be awesome. I would appreciate it very much. Subscribe for more fire content like this, of course. Hit that bell to be notified every time I go live for more content like this. Social media stash to notify when I go live. Polls, updates, and data. Second channel, Twitch, Iceberg channel. Become a member. All down there as always. Extra content. Help support me. You name it. All that good stuff. That's going to do it for this one. Again, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Insane ride for sure. Before I sign out, peace! Have a good one, guys. Much else to say.